When it comes to hot hatches, there are some key requirements. They need to be fast, responsive and balanced, but you're going to live with them on a day-to-day basis, so they also need to be reasonably comfortable. The Peugeot 308 GTI is the latest to be unveiled from the French car maker. So does it live up to that iconic GTI name and tick those hot hatch boxes? Sitting 11mm lower to the ground than the regular 308, all the visual GTI cues are evident, including a red Peugeot lettering on the grille, sport side skirts, GTI badging, full LED headlamps and 19-inch alloy wheels. A very able 270 brake horsepower engine with torque of up to 330 Newton-meters belies the car's sporty heritage, and a pair of chromed pipes are tuned to deliver a deep exhaust note that pairs beautifully with the car's performance. While you're in no doubt that this is a hot hatch, it's all very grown up inside. The door sill carries the Peugeot Sport and GTI signature, while the foot pedals, footrest and gear knob are finished in aluminium. Red stitching features throughout, and the race-inspired seats are not at the expense of comfort. Storage is good throughout, and the boot space has 470 litres. This can be extended to 1,309 when the seats are down, but it does mean that the space in the back is a little compromised. There's two different versions of the 308 GTI. There's a 250 bhp and a 270 bhp. Now they both share a 1.6 petrol, a turbocharged petrol engine, so it's fairly remarkable how Peugeot managed to extract so much power from such a small engine. This is the more high-powered of the two, the 270 bhp, and it goes from 0 to 100 in 6 seconds and does a top speed of 249 kilometres. Our test car also comes with larger but lighter wheels, bigger brakes and a limited slip differential. Now the idea of this is that you can corner, when you're cornering, that it grips a little better. The idea behind it is that it sends torque to the wheel with the most traction, so therefore you can accelerate out of a bend much harder than you normally could. Now it works very effectively in dry weather, but when we got wet weather earlier in the week, I noticed you get a huge amount of wheel spin if you push the car too hard, so you do have to be careful. Now on the road the car is very comfortable, despite the fact that it's got very large wheels. It soaks up bumps really nicely. The ride it's firm, but it's never harsh. It is a more comfortable car than anything else. It is also very fast, it's responsive, and that grip is really nice. It's very well balanced. The gearbox is a 6-speed manual gearbox. Now it could be slightly slicker, but it's decent enough. If you press the sport button, you transform the car. The dials, which were white, turn to red, and also it sharpens the car's overall response, and it gives a lovely engine note. In terms of fuel economy, CO2 emissions are 139, so you're going to be paying €280 in motor tax a year. Now Peugeot reckon you'll do about 6 litres per 100 or 47 miles to the gallon, so that's fairly decent for a performance car. But what about the downsides in the car? Well, the biggest downside for me is the steering. It's just very dull and lifeless, and it's such a pity because it's a really nice car to drive. As I said, it's fast, it's responsive, but it could be so much more engaging if you just got some more feedback from the steering. The second is the touchscreen. Now this is carried over from the 308, and it's just far too fiddly, and it's not particularly intuitive, so you spend an awful lot of time with your eyes off the road just trying to figure it out. Prices for the 250 bhp 308 GTI start at $37,175. Our test car with 270 bhp at $40,175. Rivals include the Seat Leon Cupra with 290 brake horsepower, which starts at $36,560, the Ford Focus ST with 182 bhp at $39,400, or Volkswagen's Golf GTI with 220 bhp at $37,595. Peugeot have produced some pulse racing cars in their time, cars like the 205 GTI, one of the very best hot hatches of the 80s and 90s. So with so much racing DNA, it should come as no surprise that they can still deliver a seriously good hot hatch. But hot hatches are a delicate balance between performance and comfort, and in this case rivals probably provide a more engaging drive, but there are few hot hatches that are quite as easy to live with as this one. Geraldine Herbert for Independent.ie.